This is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Griffin Cooper from Ares Games. And Ares has a distribution partnership with Polish publisher Galacta.
Yep.
And for This War of Mine and other titles. But we've got This War of Mine in front of us, which I know is just getting to Kickstarter backers.
Yep, so this just shipped. This is basically the first copy that is being demoed and shown in the US.
Okay.
So what this is a super dark, gritty game, and I'm going to stress that a lot because that's what it is.
I've already seen people posting multiple times about failure and just...
It's very tough. It's sort of a character resource management style of you want to keep this character at this level of hunger because you don't want it to go lower or higher, stuff like that. It's based on the video game. I've personally not played the video game, so I can't compare it too much.
Okay.
But from what I understand, it's pretty similar. At least I've been told when doing demos. I don't know the game completely.
Right. You know this.
I know this. I don't know the game completely. I know it better than anybody at this convention, though. So the interesting mechanic about this is that instead of embodying a character, so in a normal game I would be this guy or I would be this person. We as a group, so say us two are playing, us two are the group. We are going for the full survival of it. And then this journal is what tells who the lead player is. So it's sort of like a communism style, hey, I'm the leader, so I make this choice. So as you can see, it goes in a day cycle. So it goes morning, day, dusk, night, and so forth.
Okay.
And it's very simple to get into. Honestly, the most tedious part of this game is the setup. There's a lot of pieces on this board, and one great piece of advice, don't get overwhelmed.
Okay.
If you just focus on what it tells you to do, it'll bring up everything. Don't try and worry about stuff. I'm one of those people who reads the rules before it, and so, I want to know everything before I get into it.
But
Didn't
you don't
work
have
with
to.
this game. Didn't work.
Don't do that.
Yeah, do not do that.
Okay.
Just sort of go into it, and it leads you. So you're going to start off with 3 characters in the morning phase. So as you can see, it's going to tell you to flip over an event card. These can range from anything from like a crime wave. This is going to start night raids, that sort of stuff.
Right.
To airdrops, which drop supplies and so forth. And it affects for a round. You're going to add cold counters to this. That comes into play later. There's a lot of tokens, a lot of stuff to think about. And then after the morning, so as soon as it says that next player, since that was my phase, I pass it off to you. And then you get to do a day action.
Okay.
Now each of these characters is going to start off with 3 day actions. So as you can see, these all have these 3 circles. They'll have these 3 circles. For as ailments start to increase, and ailments are any of those, as ailments start to increase, you start to lose your day actions. So for each black circle on one, I'm losing a day action.
Okay.
Now that's not cumulative, it's just on the highest one. So say I had this, and I had an illness level 3, which shows 3. It's not that I'm missing 4 day actions because I only have 3. It's that I take the one with the highest number missing.
Okay.
So during the day actions, you're going to be doing stuff inside the house. Now, this house is one that you found. You're just civilians trying to survive in a war-torn area. But this house is, it's filled with rubble and furniture and heaps of stuff that you got to clear out to make it better living conditions. So you're going to use these 3 characters, and I could say, hey, I'm going to search this heap, and I'm going to lockpick this door, and I'm going to start trying to clear the rubble.
Okay.
Now the day actions, anything with that white hand and the red circle, so anything like the poke about or the bars, is something that can be used as a day action.
Okay.
Now the day actions, you get to do 1 day action for each of them. So you get to move them all, and everything resolves simultaneously. So I'd search the heap, and I'd clear the rubble. Now searching the heap and stuff, don't have any nails, gives you items like components and water and electrical parts. These are useful because they can help you build stuff to further improve your living conditions, such as like a rainwater collector or a bed, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then since you did one of their day actions, you pass it back to me, and I get to do a day action. After my day action, they'd be completely out of day actions because they've used their 2. And so then we progress into the next phase of the day. We go into dusk. Now, in the dusk phase, this is when you have to manage your characters and feed them, just, keep them alive, because it's very realistic. So each character is going to need a water and a food. Now, if they don't get water or food, bad stuff starts to happen. If they don't get a water, you roll, and on a 1 to 5, their hunger level increases. On a 6 to 10, their misery level increases. So, you know, you get characters starting to become miserable.
One way or the other.
Exactly.
Right.
It's just bad to not feed them and water.
Okay.
So you need to keep watering and feeding, and as you're out scavenging, you start to get water, food, you know, you have a chance for items. But you're going to go through these really quickly, and it's important to keep replenishing them. So I'm going to feed all of these. Now the raw food, each level of food is different. Canned food removes 2 hunger levels, raw food removes 1, and vegetables just stay the same.
Okay.
Now any type of food is good food. Yeah, I know, it's the...
It just
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. It doesn't actually.
And this is one of the least eventful phases, except for, you know, the whole stuff increasing, because basically that's just an upkeep sort of thing. You know, you do stuff and then you pass it back off. Evening, that's when a lot of decisions are made. This is when you get to choose what your characters are going to be doing at the night.
Okay.
Arguably, the night is the most important phase of the game, because it's when you get to go out and you get to scavenge and protect your house. So, while you're scavenging, okay, so while you're scavenging, first in the evening phase, you're going to assign. So let's say I want this character to be guarding my house, because otherwise it's going to be raided and bad stuff will happen. So I'm going to set him on guard duty in here. And I can say, okay, I have these 2 left over. I'm going to send them out to scavenge. So I'm going to send them to the quiet house to scavenge.
Okay.
So you get to assign, and since it's your turn, you know, you get to make the final decision. You're going to discuss it with me. Hey, who do you think should be on guard duty? What should we take with us? Should we take a knife or all that sort of stuff?
Right.
And then you're going to pass it off to me. And then we begin the scavenging phase. Now, scavenging phase is super important to surviving. The first time I played this, I didn't scavenge and I died the next day.
Okay.
So it's definitely
because you don't have enough in this house to
you don't have
maintain
enough to
yourself.
sustain your people, your colony, per
Right.
se. So they're going to be out scavenging. How scavenging works, there's exploration cards over here, and depending on which location you go to, there's going to be a different number. So in this one, I'm going to get 14 exploration cards, 12, 10. The reason for going to a place that has 10, now I know you're not getting as many exploration cards, so less chance of getting some stuff. For every findings, you're going to get a special item that you roll on the die. Now the special items can vary based on where you are at. As you can see, they all have different ones.
Okay.
So you could say, hey, well, I really need a saw blade. Well, I don't have a chance to get it at these 2 places, but I really need it, so I'm going to go to this place. So then you go and you do that.
Okay.
So, for sake of demonstration, we're going to say I sent both of them to this place. So I'm going to get 14 exploration cards, and they're going to go on to the unknown. That's like, oh, hey, this is areas of this area we haven't searched. So then I'm going to flip this, and it says search for furniture. And then it also explains, hey, you can either return 2 exploration cards,
Okay.
or you can raise the noise level by 1 and roll. So what the noise level is that, let's say I had a noise level of 5, and I rolled less than 5 on the noise when it says to. That's really bad, because residents start to show up.
Okay.
This can be anything from soldiers to thugs to hobos that just want to steal your stuff.
Okay.
So generally you want to try and stay sneaky, you know, but sometimes you can be like, well, hey, I have a level of 1. That's not too much of a percentage chance I'm going to roll for it. And then you have the chance for it.
Right.
Now, you're going to resolve that. Let's say that nothing happens, I sneak past them, I'm all good. You're going to resolve this. So you search the furniture, you flip the findings card, and in the furniture section, I'm going to get all of those items. Now, I didn't bring them all out because there's a lot of tokens for this game. It's big. This is one that I'd recommend getting like a tackle box or something just to separate it all out.
Okay.
But I'm going to get, from that, I'm going to get an herb, a book, a mechanical part, and a moonshine. Those are all things that can help me with crafting, medicine, all of that sort of stuff to help manage my characters.
Okay.
So then afterwards, we're going to put all of our findings. We'll say I found these. So these are all items I found. Now, it would be great if I could take them all back and I had an infinite amount of storage. That's not realistic. So there are certain weapons that are heavy. Well, not weapons, certain items that are heavy.
Right.
And that is symbolized by this sort of weight-style, bell-looking thing in the next to it, or just portrayed on the token.
Okay.
Now, I can only carry a certain number designated by my character card. So as you can see, I took these two characters. Now they only have an inventory of 3 each. That means I'm going to be able to carry 6 heavy items.
Right.
I can carry an infinite amount of light items, but that's just like stuff in your pockets with lock picks or something like that. So I can carry a lot of those. But I can only carry 6 heavy items, such as a shovel or water.
Okay.
So when you're out salvaging, water is something you can always get because let's say you come across like a rainwater dish or anything like that. So you can always carry as much water as you choose. So let's say, oh, I have 4 heavy items. I'm going to take 2 water back as well. So then you come back. But while all that is going on, and you go through all the exploration cards, sometimes they'll trigger a script event, and so forth. I'll explain the script in just a bit because that's one of my favorite parts of the game personally. But you go through all of these, and that's whether you choose to get rid of the 2 or that. Just when you're out of exploration parts, your scavenging ends, and you can always choose to bail from the scavenge.
Right. Causing too much noise or whatever you're saying.
Currently, while that's going on, though, because you're in a war-torn city, people are also out scavenging. So night raids are going to happen. That's when you're going to flip one of these over.
Okay.
That can be, again, thugs, soldiers, people who are just raiding your house. So, raging gang, rugged hoodlums. How this works, it says damage for both of those. What they do, it's going to happen no matter what. It's just what you roll. So this is the unarmed combat die. Let's say I roll a 2 on the unarmed combat die. I can take 2 away from anything that they do. So I could choose to remove 2 wounds so that this character only suffers 1 wound. Or they can only take 4 tokens instead of 6. And, as you get a knife, you start to get a better chance of more stuff. As you have a gun, it's a lot easier to defend your place. And so that's the defense, and you can have a lot of people on guard to increase your odds because then you're rolling more dice per person. So there's definitely some luck-based elements in this game.
Okay.
Onto the script. This is personally one of my favorite parts of the game because it's one of the most complex, not complex, but most intricate things involved. Involved is a good word. There is 1,947 different paragraphs worth of script in this.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff to go over that trigger on various different events.
Right, which is relating to the numbers on the bottom of the cards here.
Now, there are only certain things that trigger. Not every single card will trigger a certain event.
That's right.
That would be really you spend a lot of time in the script.
I find water.
Exactly.
What happens? There's a bug in it. Yeah.
A hoodlum attacks me. Oh no.
All right.
There are stuff called reality impact cards. There's 1 or 2 of these in each deck of cards. Does not seem that it was in this one. That's just me forgetting it.
Okay.
But there's reality.
That's right. We don't have everything
Yeah.
set up here, so.
This is demo copy. We didn't put everything into it. But there's reality impact. Basically, it says you're gonna flip a card from a certain deck. You're gonna flip the color first. So we flip the color. Great. Okay. So then let's say it says flip the visitor deck. So I'm going to resolve the gray color one on the visitor deck. So I'm going to go to 712 in the script book.
Okay.
So if you go to it, it'll have a paragraph, and that can sometimes say, hey, you have a decision to make.
That's right.
And so I can choose to A, hide the body, B, burn the body, stuff like that. Again, I'm going to say the game is extremely dark in a sense. I don't know if that was a dark one, but
it's already come with deserters looking out of a house, and
exactly.
that's right. We noticed movement in the window of the same house as before, and someone in the house had hidden the moment they saw us.
So there's a lot of really dark elements. It's a very gritty. This is war. This is realism. A lot of bad stuff happens in war.
Right.
A lot of people do bad things.
And so you're continuing the day, the dusk, the nighttime, the scavenging, the raids. To what end? How far are we just trying to see how long we survive? Or?
9 days. You want to survive 9 days.
Okay.
That's full day cycle. So you want to survive 9 full of those, and that's with night raids happening, people attacking you when you scavenge. You just want to get past it. That's your sole goal.
Okay.
Because you're just civilians trying to make it through a day.
All right. And if you do that, you win?
If you make it to 9 days with at least one of your original group. So one of these 3 has to survive the full day. I mean, the full 9 days. So then in full day.
Right.
But one of these 3 has to make it to the end. It doesn't have to be all 3. You just have to have one of them survive.
All right. Gruesome. Thank you, Griffin. Very depressing overview. This war of mine. Thank you.
Thank you guys.